I don't see any upside to bringing Ocasio-Cortez in. I think she's very intelligent. I think a lot of Republicans are making a mistake picking on her.
During a heated exchange last month between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Republicans around the Green New Deal, AOC was invited to Kentucky to speak to coal miners there by Kentucky Republican Congressman Andy Barr. Now, let me show you a clip of that.
I would invite the gentlelady to come to Eastern Kentucky and meet the coal miners who will tell you what the Green New Deal would mean for their families, their paychecks.
Well, AOC accepted the invite. So this from GQ saying she'd be happy to go, adding that the Green New Deal was written to fund coal miner pensions. Quote, "We want a just transition to make sure we are investing in jobs across those swaths of the country," she said. But now Andy Barr is running scared. So he has now changed the terms of the invite, saying that AOC now has to apologize to Dan Crenshaw. So here's what he tweeted out. "Today I delivered the letter below to AOC, calling on her to apologize for her comments to our colleague Dan Crenshaw before she plans her trip to Kentucky to learn how the Green New Deal could impact our Commonwealth." Now, I broke that Crenshaw story down in another video. There is absolutely nothing to apologize for. Crenshaw, anyways, I don't want to get into that story. You can, I'll link to it above the video if you want to watch that. But there's actually more to this. So this is what AOC tweeted out. "You know what's interesting? Last month, I invited Andy Barr to come visit us in the Bronx and offer perspective in our MSNBC Climate Town Hall. He said no, because Kentucky had an NCAA game that night. Fair. So I offered to fly him home in time for the game. He still said no." And it's also worth mentioning this bit of information tweeted out by journalist Ryan Grimm. Andy Barr invited AOC to come meet coal miners in his district, mad that the Green New Deal would take away their jobs. She accepted. Turns out there are no active coal miners in Barr's district because it's 2019, not 1919. So now Barr is uninviting AOC. Now, here's the real reason why AOC has been uninvited to Kentucky. So this clip from Republican Congressman James Comer of Kentucky is kind of revealing, as he acknowledges that he's afraid of AOC coming to Kentucky.
I don't see any upside to bringing Ocasio-Cortez in. I think she's very intelligent. I think a lot of Republicans are making a mistake picking on her. She is smart, and I think that we need to be very prepared when we debate her on issues that we're having a hard time with.
This is a huge admission from a Republican, from a sitting Republican. I haven't seen anybody else in the party acknowledge that, yeah, AOC is smart, and we have to be careful when we invite her to places because she may, in fact, make us look dumb. Now, Corbin Trent, who is AOC's communications director, is from Tennessee, and he was on MSNBC to discuss this. And I think this is a really enlightening conversation. Watch.
Why do you think the offer was rescinded?
I think that they understand that the policies that Alexandria is advocating for are extremely popular, not just in the Bronx, not just on the coast, but all over the country. And I think they also understand, some of them at least, that she's a fantastic and talented communicator, and that if she goes into their backyard and starts talking about Medicare for all, federal jobs guarantee, and a Green New Deal, that maybe they'll have a problem come 2020. And Andy Barr was saying that, you know, he wants to bring her down to Kentucky and let the coal miners tell her what's going to happen with the Green New Deal and how it's going to hurt their community, how it's going to destroy jobs. But what people in my neck of the woods and in Kentucky know is that their jobs are being destroyed already. Factories are closing, mines are laying people off. You know, we've seen that happen over the last several decades. And what they want to see is a plan for the future. And Republicans don't have one, and they know that the progressives in the Democratic Party, that wing that's at least 5 people do have, and that if we go out there and push that narrative out there, they're, I think, afraid that they're not going to have a rebuttal for it.
Are you guys going to go down there?
I sure hope so. I think so. I think, you know, whether it's East Tennessee or Louisiana or Kentucky, I think this is a message that people need to hear, that we can do more if we put our minds to it. If we, you know, I think if people hear that their government's going to get behind them, help them build businesses, help them, you know, rebuild their communities, whether it's Medicare for all, whether it's federal jobs guarantee or a Green New Deal, and actually support the, you know, the opportunity that Americans have to build a better life, I think they'll get excited by that.
All right. Final question. How did Corbin Trent from Tennessee end up working for the Congresswoman from...
She's an inspirational person. I think
the
she's
Bronx.
drawing us in from all over the place. I mean, it was a long journey that started on the Sanders campaign in 2016 and then went to a brand new Congress, Justice Democrats, and then right
And
there.
now here you are.
And then here we are.
All right. Let's first acknowledge how awesome it is that AOC's communications director is from the South. I mean, these Republicans and Democrats like Nancy Pelosi clearly underestimate AOC's appeal. So she tweeted this out in response to that video of Corbin Trent appearing on MSNBC. Surprise, I know more about West Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Appalachian communities than they think I do, in no small part because it's a valued perspective to me and for coalition building, so I have it in my staff. I suspect underestimating women is the GOP's kryptonite. Now, this is going to be surprising to a lot of people. Not only the fact that AOC has, someone from or members of her staff represented from those various communities, but also that progressive policy has widespread appeal. So this is something that, the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, but also obviously Republicans haven't appeared to clue into yet, except for maybe that one clip I showed you earlier of James Comer from Kentucky, who acknowledges that, yeah, she's smart, and we have to understand how to actually respond to her. And they don't have a response because AOC is bringing actual policy with her. So this is something you also saw in the Bernie town hall on Fox News. I mean, he went to Fox News. The crowd was, according to Brett Baer there of Fox News, was an amalgamation of America. There was conservatives, there was Democrats, there was liberals, there was progressives. Everybody was represented in that audience. And they were cheering for Bernie the entire time. When Brett Baer asked the audience, would you switch from your private insurance to Medicare for all? Everybody that had private insurance also raised their hand for Medicare for all. I mean, what else is there left to say? All that needs to be done now is there needs to be more candidates in these various districts around the country that are running on this progressive message. And not only that, but are able to be funded by by grassroots donors. So that's also the other half of the problem here is a lot of these races, the other side, whether it's the GOP or an establishment Democrat, they are funded by big money donors. And it's a lot harder in these smaller congressional races to be able to have that widespread appeal, to be able to raise money from small donors enough to combat those big donor-funded campaigns. But when you have campaigns like AOC's, or you have sitting politicians like AOC or Bernie Sanders, and they're able to potentially put a light on various districts, maybe in Tennessee, maybe in West Virginia, maybe in Kentucky, where you actually have progressive candidates funded by small grassroots donors, and they can showcase those people and campaign with them. There is a huge potential here, not only to flip establishment Democratic districts to progressive districts, but also to flip Republican districts to progressive districts.